After this weird sex scene, Honest John comes back to the motel with the henchmen again, catches Frank off guard, beats Frank senseless, and at this point in the movie, we don't know why, beats Frank senseless, kidnaps him, and the screen goes dark. Frank is knocked unconscious.
Yep.
We then see glimpses of an operating table. Beep, beep, beep.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it's like we see photos of Frank kind of hanging up. Someone is operating, doing a surgery on Frank.
Mm-hmm. And then he wakes up in a motel.
A different
town.
motel. Yeah.
And, you know, he walks up to the mirror and is like, my fake beard is gone. My fake nose is gone. I have a
It's nuts because when Frank takes off the gauze and has this realization, there's just this where he just goes, no!
Oh my God.
No!
Which, you know, all like subject matter aside, I don't know what I would react like if I woke up, in a different body, essentially.
This is the future that liberals want, Cameron.
And your son comes back with a brutal operation.
They really want to hammer home. The same way they beat it over your head earlier that Frank has a penis and is a man who sleeps with women, they now want to beat it over your head that Frank has received the genitalia of a woman.
Yeah, and boobs, of course.
And
breasts. Very many like shots like that. This is, we'll save this for the Patreon, but you know, they really hammer home like this is a different body than what Frank had however long ago. I will say Sigourney Weaver is the best surgeon in existence. There are no like surgical scars, anything like that. Nothing. Yeah.
And presumably this surgery would take... Frank hasn't been asleep for months. This is like probably a few days after the surgery.
Maybe even the same day.
We see Michelle Rodriguez full frontal and she is just bushed out. And
this episode's getting like, I don't know,
who cares, man?
So hard.
Dude, we're pushing like 100 subscribers now.
Hey,
almost,
we're on the come up. It's all good.
We're on the come up.
Yeah.
She's full bushed out, and I like to imagine because presumably to perform this operation, you would have to. I don't know if you know this. When you perform any sort of surgery, you have to shave the site. I like to imagine they shaved Frank for the surgery and then just glued the chest pubes back on the crotch to form a bush.
Yeah, that literally is the only realistic possibility.
Someone failed biology class.
They just put some minoxidil on it, like some like the oil, you know, they dripped a little bit on there.
This episode's sponsored by Hims.
Yeah. Exactly.
The motel manager comes in and sees Frank there, kind of scantily clad, wearing a robe, and is just being generically creepy. Like, sorry, I heard a noise in here. How you doing, dollface? Thinks that Frank's a hooker for some reason.
Right. I guess it's like a seedy motel, so I guess you could believe that. Maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of the normal clientele. Frank sees a bra next to the bed, perfectly laid out for him, as well as feminine clothing, and then finds a box.
Yeah.
Opens up the box.
It's
Dr. Jane, Sigourney Weaver's character, has left.
Yeah, it's HRT, basically, right?
Yes.
Isn't that what? Yeah.
Yes.
And he, of course, like very passionately, throws it.
Throws the hormones across the room. I ain't no damn woman.
Which, he's not, to be fair.
Yeah,
he's not. I'll give him that.
No. But there's also an audio recording in there from Dr. Jane that says, Frank, you've just woken up in your new body. You were too masculine. You were too much of a man, which is why you killed my brother. Here's a picture of my brother I've left in the box. Now you got to live life as a woman. This is the first big fumble of the movie in my book. Because Frank, I thought this movie potentially had the reality of going in a slightly different direction. And I was like, okay, this could be kind of interesting, which is that Frank is a douchebag.
You pulled a me of like wanting it to be more interesting than it is. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I did, because I also at first I did like the style of this movie. The premise is obviously garbage.
Sure, I mean,
the style was intriguing, and I thought it was gonna be that Frank is like a douche who's like a womanizer and abuses women, and now has to live life as a woman. Yeah. Or appearing as a woman and has to face.
But we don't get that characterization at all.
Frank's our hero.
Yeah. And we don't get really any characterization other than he just is a hitman who's stoic. Like, there's nothing prior to this to set that up. Because yeah, to your point, it's like if you're gonna take something like this that like involves a sex change, like that's a very like, I guess, serious thing to handle. But if you don't like give us any like character thing, or you like are just trying to make a dumb action movie while dealing with a very sensitive subject matter, it just falls flat. But sorry, that may be completely different than what you were going to say.
No,
I
that's
just totally steamrolled you. But
that's a much better way of saying what I was thinking.
Okay.
So, yes.
All right.
The audio recording explains Dr. Jane's plan for revenge on Frank is simply to now hopefully be more docile because Frank now has to live as a woman.
Because he's low T.
You're
He's a low T
you're
male.
now a beta male.
Literally, that is what.
I wish the recording. I wish when he pulled out the audio recording, it just said, "You've been trans." Whop, whop. You've been trans.
You hear Honest John in the background. Bop!
Boy, you've been trans. So Frank is having a little bit of a meltdown here, and it's clear at this point that the mission of the movie is Frank is going to have to extract revenge on Dr. Jane for giving him a forced. I can't believe I'm saying these words out loud.
Yeah.
For giving him a forced sex change operation.